All right, jumping in today, we're going to go into Axie Infinity. We got a chance to do a video on this previously. We're going to dive a little deeper. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Joining me, of course, is in the co-pilot seat, Miss Lisa. Great to have you back in.
Pew! To the moon we go, yellow.
All right, Lisa, let's jump in tight.
All right.
Let's get in, first of all, to Axie in general, to kind of give some of our new viewers and also just in general people to kind of tie into what it is and where it's going. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, Paul, this is a phenomenon. You know, the Pokemon-like game is where users have to collect Axies. Those are the characters that are super cute. They have like these special abilities. But here's really where it gets to the technological aspect, and that is this NFT game has a virtual economy, its own in-game tokens, which are called AXS. That's the governance token.
Gotcha. Yep.
This is the currency within the game, and you know players can win SLPs, which is quite cute. This acronym, Smooth Love Potion. And so you know what's fascinating about what's happening within the Axie Infinity world and the surge in interest and adoption, for that matter, which we'll unpack, is that you can actually earn an income.
Yeah.
A sustainable wage in countries like the Philippines, for example. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, let's jump to this decrypt story because Ethereum, you know, kind of talks about their daily users growth. So again, this is 10x June to hit 1 million. I want to kind of cover some of this down here. You know, surging Ethereum base, obviously hitting 1 million daily active users. This is pretty crazy. Again, this is Sky Mavis, and when we did the previous video on this, the big issue was Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was one of the key investors in Sky Mavis, so obviously he saw something coming. Now it has seen a fairly exponential growth over the past year. The question is, I'm wondering, and I think we talked about this a little bit, is how long can this game hold out in terms of its continued growth numbers? Obviously that has certain impact on where the token is going and what that future is looking like. And we're going to give you a token analysis for sure and kind of jump into those. But I'm just kind of curious, what are your thoughts on kind of, can it continue to hold on?
That's a very good question. And I think a lot of the adoption has been driven by the pandemic. I mean, the fact of the matter is that when you look at the impact that the pandemic is having and keeping people home, keeping people housebound, you know, what alternatives are there to generate an income? And I think that that's been one of the driving forces. And of course, the Ethereum, it's an Ethereum-based blockchain. And so with that, of course, a rising tide raises all ships as well. So as Ethereum continues to pump,
EIP 1559,
exactly right. I think you'll continue to see a rise. But one thing I want to say about Sky Mavis, Paul, which is the manufacturer of Axie Infinity, and this is a tweet that they posted recently that kind of surmises who they are, what they're striving to be. Sky Mavis posted, we are laser focused on bringing property rights to gamers through the creation of digital nations. So we are just getting started in terms of the player economy.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big factor. And when you look at companies like Sky Mavis and kind of what their development architecture is and kind of how many things have they achieved and where are they going with all this. So this story was Axie Infinity hitting some major milestones, one after the other. So they did a lot here. One, of course, this is the one obviously that everybody's interested in is where's the token going? So sales volume was up 10%, USD 29 bucks. This is ahead of their CryptoPunks, which of course you've got a whole lineup around them comparing. Now they're like one of the most valuable NFT assets out there.
Oh yeah.
Then they also had the announcement that they've recorded more than 1 million daily actives, which we talked about. Here's another one. This is interesting right here because DApp Radar said industry registered more than 1.4 daily users. So that's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
40%. That's huge.
Can't say anything related to the discrepancy, but I will say that in the last 30 days, Paul, this is fascinating. The game has generated over nearly $800 million in revenue across 1.4 million in transaction sales. The point in mentioning that is that within the past 30 days is where the lion's share of the revenue has been generated, which I think is an indication of the appetite that the market has for these gaming economies.
$600 million in July alone. Kind of crazy. All right, this is it continues to be insane. Let's jump to this fast facts piece here. DApp Radar shows Axie Infinity market now has a trading volume of 1.26 billion, ranking first now among all markets in terms of NFTs. So this is huge.
The most expensive NFT collection, as you mentioned. And for context, for folks that are not familiar with this game, those Axies, those little cute Pokemon-looking characters, are $300 a pop. Okay? Now, there's a minimum of 3 that you need to buy. So if you want to get in the game, you need at least $900 to just to get activated.
How can this, I mean, when you look at growth, how can this grow with that kind of investment requirement? Is that going to be a...
Oh, yeah, you just redeploy your funds. You just redeploy your capital from the gains in your other tokens.
Here's the thing that was interesting to me, this piece right here. Actually still in its internal alpha stage.
Wow.
Can you imagine what this thing is going to do if they really start rolling out on this? So, big deal. I don't know. It's less than 1 million since some players have downloaded the game without playing it. So that I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see kind of the stick ratio. Because a lot of times when you get those kinds of scenarios, whether it's an NFT or any game for that matter, is that you're looking at situations for how sticky is it? Is it capable of being able to really kind of penetrate some of these initial emerging markets? I want to jump to this one chart that they gave, which was a key metrics chart. Let me move this over here. All right, so this was their key metrics. This comes from their website. Key metrics, this was kind of their traction chart, and this goes back to, let me kind of zoom in on that right there, January 1, 2019, all the way to January 1, 2020. You can kind of see the year movement here, and then right there is where we are. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, hockey stick growth.
Yeah, you talk about a crazy growth number. And again, total revenue, August, this was 2020, 6,400 ETH. They haven't given us the numbers for this year yet. Maybe it's still early, but this is obviously going to be, dwarf in comparison in terms of where it is.
Exciting times we're living in, but we'll see if they can maintain that level of accelerated growth.
Yeah. Do you like NFTs? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh my God.
Are you into it?
You know I have an NFT rap song.
I don't want to hear it.
NFT royalties. No, I absolutely love NFTs. And I think that a lot of times folks think about NFTs in relation to digital art.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that, a smart contract, there's so many, any one-for-one asset. So think about real estate. Think about what the implications will be when you can literally become your own bank and take a home equity line of credit out from an NFT based on your home.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of novel concepts and use cases.
Right. Total Web 3.0.
Yep. Exactly right.
In terms of kind of the evolution of where we're going to see technology move and kind of pacing around use cases that are going to spawn from the gaming industry, I think, because gaming is all about adoption.
That's right.
And it's also about youth, because you get a culture typically
that will grow with the game.
Exactly. And the fact that their expectations in other aspects of life will kind of migrate from games on into other real life applications, which is where it starts to play into pickup.
And I also think that the habitualization of living in a virtual world is something that these younger generations are just that's their world, like they're a digital first generation, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
This reminds me of Ready Player One. I mean,
I really, that.
I mean, it's like, with the exception of the stacking, containers that everybody lives in the city of Chicago.
So dystopian.
Yeah, but it's Ready Player One altogether instead of, who knows what that's going to look like. Yeah, Sky Mavis could be, the evil empire there that kind of recreated that. The guy who. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off. Let's jump to the chart. Let's jump to the chart.
We have too much fun.
Yeah, so we looked at this. I want to kind of score myself on our own predictions. We looked at this back in July. It was around 7th through 11th of July. We pulled a sentiment score. Axie was performing very high at 72.09. Its amplification score, almost 60 points. And as you guys know, if you're following our charts often, anything over 50 in either one of those credentials is pretty significant. It's a big move. So we did call the scenario of, and my words were, watch out. And the watch out was on the conservative side, because I was still seeing this line right here, this purple line, which was right around the $17 line.
And you anticipated the dip.
Well, I was saying watch out, in the sense that, because we can only look at about 7 days out on amplification before the data starts getting really mushy. You can continue to move on it and kind of follow it up. If we were just doing nothing but analyzing Axie, we probably could have maybe got a little closer on its potential rise. But the fact that it continued to hit, which it went to a $29 high right here on July 15th, we called it at a $17 high. Very conservative, and I think you guys will all agree. I'm pretty conservative on my predictions, because obviously we don't want anyone, and again, remember, market movers, throw up the screen. This is not
the disclaimer.
The financial advice. We always try to give you guys enough data and enough information to get you moving on your own journey for finding out what
Do your own
works
due
for you.
diligence.
Yeah. So the key here is watch out. It did take the dip. Now, see, here's my question to a lot of the Axie Infinity holders or anybody out there. I want to just kind of talk about something. When you see a jump like this in any, whether it's a stock, a cryptocurrency, and then you see this kind of fall off right here from $29 to $14.
Yep.
Are you exiting?
Do you have diamond hands or do you
Yeah.
have paper hands is the question. And I think this is where fundamental analysis comes into play. If you're looking at adoption rates, if you're looking at emerging markets, and in this context, just kind of look like seeing the trends in how these emerging markets are really like the driving forces behind the economy, the gaming system.
Yeah.
I think that for me, had I been in the trade, I would have held.
So you would have held from $29 high.
Yep.
If you'd have bought at $29 and saw that cut in half.
Yeah, because I just couldn't bear the grief of knowing that I would sell at such. I mean, that would be devastating.
Right. Okay, so I'm a chartaholic, and when I look at charts like this worries me whenever I see this kind of movement right here to a sentiment bubble that we scored to what somewhat of a conservative, number that we were concerned about it, and then the fall off that essentially I was kind of worried about. Now, what we should have done, and this is our own fault, that we didn't come back in and look at this bubble right here, and this is the one that I think we should have been tracking. This guy right here should have been the sentiment bubble that we were tracking, and this would have been July 15th through July 20th. So that week right there, that would have given us a little bit more indicator to try to predict that.
But let me tell you this, I think that, and this is speculative, so, forgive me for just kind of, ideating here, but I think, Paul, that had to do with the resurgence of the pandemic. I think that with—
Really, you think so?
Absolutely, with the news that the Delta variant was only continuing to increase cases and the pandemic wasn't subsiding, because again, when you think about alternative means of generating income, what better place than in your home playing a game? I mean, I'm sold.
All right, so I want to jump to where we are now. So we pulled our second bubble on Axie. We looked at this period right here, which was July 24th, out here to July 27th. And we laid in amplification, and you can kind of see where we are right now with amplification just a little bit here. A little bit outside the layer, again, outperforming when you think about where that's hitting. Let me kind of jump the brush here. This right here was outside what we were able to look at. We landed pretty tight in this area right here, and it seems like we were somewhat here. Again, another overperformance right here. The question is this going to continue to rise? This is the piece we're looking at right now from what looks to be around the 27th up through around the 8th. That's about as far as we could go.
Yep.
Before it gets really mushy. And some of these times, the data starts getting really narrow because we don't get enough amplification from the different platforms that we register against. So the key is we need to follow traffic or follow a particular token or project as it's moving.
Sure.
And kind of get in that place. But, it's been a pretty big flyer. I think the key here is this, again, the time to buy? Has this reset the all-time high?
Yep.
And is this just the new normal in between the $39 and $50 range of where Axie could be?
I'll tell you this, as of this morning, according to CoinGecko, it was at $54.80.
Took a big
and
bump.
It was up 25% in the last 24 hours. So I don't know what's going on out there, but to me, that is a very bullish indicator. However, can they sustain that momentum is the question. And the jury's not out on that as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and you got ETH, the hard fork hitting last week.
Yep.
You've got the scenario of Bitcoin on it seems to be its resurged bull run. And you've got games like this that are continuing to show a lot of growth in terms of player count, but also in terms of confidence from the market.
Right.
So I think that's going to be the player.
Product market fit.
So what I want to do is we're going to come back and look at Axie in a few times. We may do another flash video on it for you guys if we can track down a little bit more amplification, because right now we've kind of went outside the window of what we're calling, which was around 5240 on our zone, which was performing decently until this morning when it just took an absolute jump. So the question is this some manipulation, or is this market demand causing it? Anytime I see those kind of moves, I'm always skeptical of where that's going. You're always going to see these little dip and corrections.
And I can't imagine that there aren't going to be profits taken.
They have to. I mean, if you were up from back in July,
forget about
July
it.
5th, you were at $9 a token here. So obviously
It's at
going up.
almost $55.
Well, yeah, it's bumping the $60 range right now. Wow. So what a great opportunity to 6x
God
your
bless.
money.
Oh, we want to hear in the comments.
Yeah.
Are you in Axie Infinity? What are your thoughts on this gamer economy? Like, let us know what you think.
Yep. If you guys are watching in over or listening in over on the podcast on Spotify or iTunes, give us some ratings, and of course follow us over there.
And if you're on YouTube, we want to hear from you. Comment below. Tell us your thoughts on this gaming economy, as I said. And of course, subscribe. Because if you want to know what you need to know to feel like a pro, this is where you need to be.
I like that. If you want to know what you need to know to feel like a pro.
Right.
All right. You guys make sure and reach out to us if you have an idea for a show. Maybe you want us to do a token analysis or dive into a particular interview. We've got a ton of CEOs that have been on the show here recently, and we try to continue to keep that going. The demands on those are pretty high, so we will continue to go in that direction. But if you want to reach out to me, just hit me up on Twitter, just @Paul Barron. We'll catch
Slide
you
in
next
those
time.
DMs.
Catch you next time right here on TechPath.